In the bustling city of Thebes, whispers of Dionysus' divine prowess spread like wildfire. Ino, his aunt, and the wife of King Athamas luxuriated in her family's newfound eminence. Yet, this elation stoked a fierce jealousy within Hera, the sovereign of the gods. How can a mere offspring, born outside wedlock, Hera seethed inwardly, command such might? He can transform sailors, drive a mother to slay her own son, and turn siblings into birds. Am I, Hera, to merely simmer in ire without retribution? Is this the limit of my authority? Consumed by animosity and a hunger for retribution, Hera embarked on a hazardous odyssey to the depths of the underworld. Along a shadowy, somber path veiled by yew trees, she ventured toward the gates of this foreboding realm. As she descended, the river Styx exhaled its toxic miasma, and the freshly departed wandered aimlessly, their countenances etched with despondency. An everlasting winter gripped this desolate expanse, casting a shroud of dread over the surroundings. Arriving at the sprawling metropolis of the deceased, with its myriad gates, Hera penetrated its confines. This realm accommodated all souls, irrespective of their number or deeds in life. Shades, incorporeal, soulless entities roamed the city, some awaiting judgment, others dwelling with the subterranean monarch, Hades. Still, others pursued earthly endeavors, while some suffered eternal torment for past transgressions. Fueled by wrath and vengeance, Hera braved this eerie sojourn. Crossing the threshold, Cerberus, the triple-headed guardian hound, emitted a triadic bark, its menacing growl reverberating through the underworld. Undeterred, Hera summoned the Furies, dread goddesses born from night. They sat, extracting vipers from their tresses before the adamantine gates of imprisonment, radiating an aura of dread and foreboding. Recognizing Hera, these subterranean divinities arose, their gazes ablaze with malice. Surrounded by the tormented souls of the underworld, Hera bore witness to their gruesome punishments. Tydeus, a titan spanning 9 acres, endured the eternal agony of vultures consuming his entrails. Tantalus, afflicted by unquenchable thirst, futilely reached for receding water, perpetually tormented by insatiable craving. Sisyphus, ceaselessly laboring to hoist a boulder uphill, only to witness its descent, was ensnared in a cycle of futile toil. Ixion, bound to a revolving wheel, suffered perpetual torment, chasing and fleeing an illusory self. And the progeny of Belus, sentenced to perpetually bear leaking water jars, endured eternal punishment for impiety. Surveying these punishments with steely resolve, Hera turned her gaze to Sisyphus, questioning, why does only Athamas, among these brothers-in-law, evade retribution? Why does he revel in opulence despite his defiance through his spouse Ino? Disclosing the true motive for her descent, Hera beseeched the Furies to unleash their fury upon Athamas, to plague him and bring ruin upon the lineage of Cadmus. She pledged favors in return for their service, her words dripping with malevolence and resolve. Tisiphone, the harbinger of the Furies, her locks entwined with serpents, shook her head and proclaimed, enough words. It shall be done. Depart this ghastly realm and return to the heavens. Her proclamation resounded throughout the underworld, heralding imminent doom for Ino and Athamas. Without a moment's pause, Hera departed the underworld, her heart brimming with a sinister satisfaction. She had unleashed forces that would unravel the happiness of Ino and Athamas, their lives now ensnared by the fury she had unleashed. Ascending to the heavens, a dark smirk adorned her lips, a chilling testament to her authority and the depths to which she would descend for retribution. Upon her return, Hera's jubilation knew no bounds. As she readied herself to re-enter heaven, Iris, daughter of Thaumas, bestowed purification upon her with a gentle sprinkle of water. But Hera's respite was short-lived. Tisiphone, the avenging spirit, emerged, wielding a torch dripping with gore and cloaked in fresh blood. Coiled serpents danced around her as she emerged, accompanied by mourning, fear, terror, and madness, each bearing a twisted visage. As they approached the doorway, the very structure trembled, and the once sturdy maple door seemed to pale in comparison. Even the sun itself seemed to recoil at the ominous sight. Horrified by these foreboding signs, Athamas and Ino sought to flee their home. Yet, their escape was thwarted by the vengeful Erinyes, known also as Tisiphone. With arms twisted and coiled with vipers, she unleashed her fury, causing the serpents to writhe and hiss in a frenzied dance of malice. With a swift and malevolent gesture, Tisiphone plucked 2 serpents from her hair and flung them toward Ino and Athamas with a hand dripping with pestilence. The snakes slithered upon their chests, infusing their minds with madness. Though their bodies remained unscathed, their sanity was fractured beyond repair. Tisiphone wielded a concoction of unparalleled horror, a brew born of Cerberus's foaming drool, Echidna's venom, and a medley of crazed delusions, forgetfulness, tears, and seething rage. With a malevolent fervor, she boiled this sinister mixture in a bronze cauldron, the air thick with the scent of malice and despair. Stirring the potion with a stalk of hemlock, she watched as Ino and Athamas trembled in terror, their souls already in turmoil. With a swift and calculated motion, Tisiphone splashed the maddening poison onto the hapless couple, the venom seeping into their very essence, stirring chaos within. Waving her torch in a menacing circle, she intensified the flames of madness that now consumed them, ensuring that their torment would know no bounds. With her dark deed accomplished, Tisiphone returned to the underworld, shedding the serpents that adorned her hair, leaving behind a wake of despair and insanity. Athamas, consumed by a maddening rage, erupted from his palace, his voice echoing with delusion as he cried out to his companions, commanding them to spread their nets in the woods to capture a phantom lioness and her cubs. In his deranged state, he mistook his beloved wife, Ino, for a wild beast. With a frenzied grasp, he seized their innocent child, Lurchus, from Ino's embrace, swinging him like a projectile before dashing his tender form against the unyielding stones, heedless to the horror of his actions. As the full weight of grief and madness descended upon her, Ino's anguished cries pierced the air. Disheveled and consumed by despair, she fled, clutching her remaining child, Melicerta, to her chest. Her wails mingled with fervent invocations to Dionysus, the god of revelry and madness, as she sought solace in her delusion-stricken state. Hera, upon hearing the name of Dionysus invoked amidst the chaos, smiled with a sinister satisfaction, her voice dripping with scorn as she uttered, "May your foster child repay you for this." Her words carried a weight of ominous prophecy, foretelling the retribution to come. Meanwhile, perched upon a rocky precipice overlooking the tumultuous sea, Ino, driven to madness by the torment inflicted upon her, embraced her child tightly as they plunged into the foaming depths below. The water churned and roiled with their descent, swallowing them whole in its unfathomable depths. Moved by pity for her innocent granddaughter and Ino's child, Aphrodite, the goddess of love, beseeched her uncle Poseidon, the mighty ruler of the seas, with soothing words. She implored him to show mercy upon the souls cast adrift upon the vast expanse of the Ionian Sea, invoking her own divine origins from the foam-born depths as a plea for compassion and divine intervention. Moved by Aphrodite's plea and the innocence of the souls cast into the sea, Poseidon, the god of the ocean, was swayed to compassion. With a wave of his trident, he stripped away their mortality, bestowing upon them an aura of divine majesty. Palamon, formerly known as Lurchus, and his mother Ino underwent a miraculous transformation, ascending to the ranks of deities. Ino was reborn as Leucothoe, the white goddess, while Palamon ascended as a sea god, embodying the realm over which Poseidon held dominion. Meanwhile, the devoted attendants of Ino, tracing her footsteps to the edge of the rocky precipice where she met her fate, mourned their beloved queen and her child. Convinced of their demise, they lamented the tragedy befalling the house of Cadmus, expressing their grief through acts of mourning that echoed through the air. In the face of their mourning and accusations, Hera, relentless in her wrath, vowed to silence their voices of dissent. With a decree that bore the weight of divine retribution, she declared her intent to etch their punishment into eternity, ensuring they served as everlasting reminders of her displeasure. Hera's words manifested swiftly into action, as each attendant met a fate befitting their perceived transgressions. One, driven by loyalty to Ino, attempted to follow her queen into the sea, only to find herself petrified, her form melding with the unforgiving rock. Another, seized by grief, found her attempts at mourning halted as her very limbs stiffened into stone. Yet another, reaching out in despair to touch the sea, found her hand forever frozen in stone, a testament to Hera's enduring wrath. Even those spared from complete petrification were not exempt from Hera's punishment. Some sprouted wings, condemned to roam the skies as eternal reminders of the wrath of Ismenus and the unyielding vengeance of the Queen of the Gods.